What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, joined by my co-host today.
Develox 21, what's up?
It's the day before Game 6 of the Knicks versus Indiana. The Knicks are going to play on the road in Indiana, where the Indiana Pacers have not yet lost at home throughout the playoff series. This is a young, not as experienced playoff team, Indiana playoff team. Um, and with the way Indiana put the clamps on the Knicks in game four, the Knicks retaliated in game five. The Knicks were able to beat Indiana at MSG, which wasn't surprising. The Knicks needed to take that win, which put them up 3-2 in the series. The Knicks beat the Pacers 121-91. Pretty solid game overall. The Knicks came out strong, high energy. First quarter, 38-32. Second quarter, outscored the Pacers 31-22. Third quarter also scored them, and the fourth as well, 27-21, and then 25-26. Field goal percentage wise, the Knicks were at 46%. Indiana was at 43. The three pointers, Indiana did shoot the 3-pointer well, or at least better than Knicks. They were at 44%. The Knicks were 12 for 35 at 34%. Free throws, the Knicks were at 78%. They were 15 for 19, where Indiana was at 77%. They were 17 for 21. The Knicks out rebounding the Pacers at 53-29. Isaiah Hartenstein had 12 of the total 20 offensive rebounds that the Knicks had compared to Indiana's 5. And defensive rebounds as well. The Knicks did a great job at 33-24. The Knicks finished with 5 blocks. Indiana had 6. Knicks had 7 steals. Indiana had 5. The Knicks kept the turnovers low to a total of only 9. And the Knicks did an excellent job with the points in the paint at 62. And as far as scoring, the Knicks had some solid help overall. Josh Hart, he played 39 minutes, which is actually quite low for him, which is a good thing because Tibbs was able to rest guys at the end of the game. Josh played 39 minutes. He finished with a double-double with 18 points, 11 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo played 30 minutes. He finished with 8 points, 7 rebounds. He was struggling from the three, but he made up for it with the other intangibles that he did in that game. I liked what I saw from him. Isaiah Hartenstein played 31 minutes, had 17 rebounds. 12 again of those rebounds were offensive. He did an excellent job not only rebounding the ball, passing the ball, his timing on his passes, the basketball IQ, the blocks, the defensive presence. I like what I saw from him. And I was looking for that from him throughout this series. Jalen Brunson had another monster game, played 43 minutes. He had 44 points, 7 assists. Miles McBride finally woke up from the dead. The deuce was loose. He played 40 minutes. He started the game. He finished with 17 points. Precious Achua played 23 minutes. He had 5 rebounds, 4 points, 2 assists, and I'm sure he had at least 2 blocks because he came out there and was definitely holding it down on the defensive end. And again, even though his numbers are not high, he did the other little things that made an impact on this game. And Alex Berg, who hasn't played many games throughout the ending of the stretch of the regular season, played 23 minutes. He had 18 points and 5 rebounds. What a performance from this Knicks team. What are your thoughts on game 6, watching that game?
You mean game 5, because they
Five,
played game 6. Yeah.
five.
Um, for me, I was reading something and it was an interesting stat
Mm-hmm.
that this was the first time the Knicks led at half during the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I said, yeah, that's true because it seems like they've always been down, or not by much, or if the weather was 10 or 8. But they've always, this is the first time they held the lead. So, and I guess, you know, that's not indicative of anything, but it's just an interesting fact. But me, man, that game 5, if they could duplicate what they did for 6, and quite frankly, I'm hoping we always say tips like to veer away from what's going right. And I saw something where they said that Tiz pulled out his super what was it, a super weapon or his secret something or for game 5, and I guess they referring to Deuce, how he went small. But just like collectively, man, they were so locked in. Um, like they didn't get rattled. Um, just they got up to a good start, although they were like down not by much, but they still were able to, gain that momentum, and then they were able to lead, during the quarters. So that was a plus for them. And and like you said, they just outscored the Pacers in each quarter. Again, there's so many pluses and positives with this game 5 that if they could just bottle, and they can, because
Mhm.
the Pacers is not a physical team. It's like they don't, like I saw something with DiVincenzo, how he said, that's not their identity. And it's not. We know what the Knicks identity is. So they have to duplicate what they did in game 5 for game 6 and just close this out. But just overall, you know, just Miles, he was, I mean, phenomenal on Halliburton. Just a great defensive effort. On Halliburton, he limited him to 13 points, 5 of 9 shooting. So Halliburton wasn't able to get into a rhythm, which was like, great. And again, these are things they need to do, for game 6. Um,
But do you think that Halliburton wasn't as effective and didn't make an impact because of Deuce necessarily, or do you think that that was Halliburton just not being as aggressive as he's done in this series?
both,
A
both,
combination of
because
both.
there was sometimes, like they said, listen, I know you're a great facilitator, and he was under the basket a few times, and he passed it out. So it was a combination of both, and I don't expect him to be like that for game 6. um you know but just Duke's defensive effort and the team, because and they held Indiana to 91 points.
Yeah.
So just their defensive effort, you holding them to 91 points. So that says a lot defensively and collectively as a team. Um, you know, Jalen Brunson, you know him. He's gonna do Brunson things. And their guards, they were no match for him. Even the small forwards, they try to put, Nebhard, Neesmith. They even try to throw McConnell in there. He was in his bag, and though being at home, that's a plus for them. And another interesting thing, and I read that by them coming home, he was able to get the treatment. I spoke to you
Mhm.
about that, like,
Mhm.
so that medical staff and the medical treatment that he's able to get at home as opposed to the road, that's a plus. But he looked healthy, man. I mean, you know, you he looks like he was 110%. Um, just overall. But that game, they just it was so refreshing to see them. 9 turnovers compared to the Pacers, they had 18. So again, with that defense and the second chance points, they were at 29-19.
Mhm.
So they just were able to capitalize so much on Indiana's, you know, not I can't even say Indiana misstep. It was just their defensive effort, and their offense was flowing too. You know, like I said, teams need to, incorporate that secret weapon for game 6. But just, I mean, overall they just outworked, they out hustled the Pacers, and they out rebounded them. So that it was just a great game, and they could do it for game 6 and just close it out.
Yeah, I think Tibbs did a great job making the adjustment with starting McBride.
Oh man.
Deuce, having Deuce set the screen for
Yeah.
Brunson made a difference versus having Hartenstein setting the screen, because what happened was with Deuce setting the screen for Brunson, that was allowing the switch to happen. And now Halliburton was guarding Brunson, which worked out. That
Yeah.
worked out because they weren't expecting that.
Yep.
I also thought that just the energy overall by the Knicks was very high. The Knicks had this high intensity about them throughout the game.
Hmm.
Um, I like what I saw on a defensive effort. I like what I saw even with guys like Dante DiVincenzo, he was like 0 for 8 beyond the
Oh
arc.
yeah.
Like he made up for it with the other things, whether it was the block, the dunk, the catching a missed shot. It was the little things that he did. And Precious Achua, who's not getting talked about enough in this series, he played 23 minutes, but it was well deserved. I thought
Yeah.
he did a great job coming in the game and getting blocks, and he tipping balls from guys as they were trying to dribble the ball and he knocking it away from guys. Precious has this unique style of playing defense where it looks very slow and it looks very laxed, for lack of a better word, but it's his own way of his timing and what he does, and it works for him. It works for him and it works for this Knicks team. But I really liked what I saw from the Knicks. The Knicks came out punching and swinging and what they needed to do, because the biggest thing that we were talking about prior to game 5 was the Knicks needed to make sure that they maintain control of this series. You didn't want Indiana to take that last game because now your backs are against the wall. And quite
Yeah.
honestly, the Knicks need to still play tomorrow's game like it's a game 7, like their backs are against the wall. You don't want it to go to a game 7. I was listening to Alan Hahn on Hahn and Bart earlier today. And Alan brought up something that was I didn't even think about, but he was saying how the Knicks technically really want the Timberwolves to win and force a game 7. Because if they don't, whether the Knicks win, which they
Yeah.
will win, not whether, but if even if the Knicks lost and had to play a game 7, the Knicks would be playing Boston right away on
Yeah.
Tuesday. So the only reason why the Knicks technically are not playing tonight is because Caitlin Clark is playing the New York Liberty. Shout out to the New York Liberty. We will be watching that game. They're playing them tonight at 7 p.m. And they did win their last game, which we were going to go over those stats too a little bit later in the show. But the Knicks, either way, to me, just get the series over with. I was telling you yesterday on the phone how I felt like this one Philly. I was like, okay, I'm tired of this. Not that I was tired of this. Move on. It's
Yeah.
enough. We've done enough battling. Let's move on to the next round. And I think the Knicks need to really make that same way they played in game 5 with that energy and that aggressiveness, that grittiness, that wanted to get more. The Knicks have to come out like that tomorrow and just get this series over so they can rest, because the games are going to be back to back. Because here's the thing, Boston won, so Boston's going to have a 5-day rest.
Best. Yeah.
Game one
Regardless.
for them is not going to start until Tuesday. So the Knicks need to just get this win out the way tomorrow. This way they can rest, because we already know OG Anunoby is ruled out
The games.
for,
Yeah.
for game 6, which is okay because you can have him even if you can't get him for game 1 of round of the Eastern Conference round against Boston. Maybe you could get him for game 2 or game 3. But I need the Knicks to be rested for Boston, because right now Boston's had a cakewalk. No one's giving them a challenge.
Yeah.
No one's giving a challenge. The only thing that's happened is they got caught off guard. They got caught slipping against Cleveland at one game, but they came right back and bounced back like nothing ever happened, just as the Knicks did. The Knicks moved that game 4 right behind them and said, I put it behind us. We're moving on. We know what we need to do. And like you said, Indiana is going to come out tomorrow aggressive, going to come out strong. I think the key thing is not just the energy, but the defense. Don't allow them to just go in and make easy buckets and easy baskets. TJ McConnell getting easy layups, Miles Turner shooting threes, hitting layups. The Knicks gotta play that strong defense and really guard guys down. I don't want to see Obi shooting whatever he wants, flying down the court. Josh Hart had a nice play in game 5 where he was able to stop the fast break, but it's those little things. And, I really want the Knicks to close this game out too because they had the opportunity in round 1 to close it out. Remember when Philly came to New York to the Garden and we didn't close out that game 5?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Knicks have the opportunity. Don't even allow it to get to a game 7. Take care of business on the road and also make them feel pain where they'll be like, damn, give the sports analysts, the BSPN and people to say something about, wow, the Knicks actually beat Indiana on their floor, considering they haven't lost a game yet in
Exactly.
Indiana. This Knicks team is more than capable. And right now, again, the Knicks are still being counted out.
Oh yeah.
And Boston fans are already saying they want New York. They
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 know. Did you see that sorry chat mail on IG?
yeah, yeah,
Man, like
yeah,
in the comments, they were so out of rhythm, and it was like they say, often imitated, never duplicated. They're not New Yorkers. Come on. So yeah, I knew you was gonna mention that. Salute.
yeah. Exactly. So it's like closing tomorrow's game out is so pivotal. And I know this Knicks team could do it, but I just don't want the Knicks to fall short. And also, shout out to the Knicks for not just putting the clamps and the punches and punching back on Indiana the way they did to them, but also the Knicks were able to get a nice lead and they maintained the lead that Tibbs was able to sit guys down. We saw
Yeah,
Shake, we saw third string guys in the game. And I'm like, this is what I've been asking for. Get a nice, and that was one of my highlights. I said, just get a comfortable lead and maintain the lead.
yeah,
The game doesn't need to all, it doesn't always have to come down to the last 2 points, 5 points, a basket, a free throw. Why put yourselves under that distress? Why put the fans under that anxiety? Hartenstein, I'm gonna need him to lock it up, Miles Turner. If not, I don't know. Maybe Tibbs need to put Precious on him or something because he was out there shooting threes. It was traumatizing because it was giving Embiid part 2. And
yeah.
remember, Hartenstein couldn't stop those threes because I went over this for round 1. Hartenstein, the issue with that is that when he's guarding a big who can shoot the three,
Wait,
Hartenstein gets right up under them. He's in a almost a squat position, and he's almost chin to chin, nose to nose with the defender. The problem is that the defender is like, okay, what's that gonna do? I'm gonna put the ball right up because by the time I do that, you're gonna put your hand up and it's too late. I already put the ball up and shot it.
yeah.
And that's why Turner
Totally.
was able to get those shots off over him because Hartenstein is like this with his hands like this. He's ready to play defense, but you're not contending. Whereas it's like he's too late. So Turner was like, "Boop, oh, you gonna keep playing defense like that? I'm gonna do that again against you." And that's when Tibbs was like, "Enough." After the third one, he had to call a timeout because I'm like,
Yeah,
Hartenstein, you did this to us in round 1. Again, I'm not dismissing
flashbacks.
what right. I'm not dismissing all the good that he did, but sir, you cannot do that. And in tomorrow's game, Turner's gonna challenge Hartenstein and shoot
Oh
those
yeah,
threes again. You cannot play defense like this. You got to put your hands up. Challenge him to make a difficult, tough shot. I will say the defense was so good in game 5 that the Knicks had Indiana scrambling at times where they had to rush a last second shot because they were going to get the shot clock violation. But the Knicks have to like come out with that same intensity, that same. And you know what else they did that I was like, finally, fine. Tibbs, thank you, Tibbs. Remember Tibbs was in the I don't know if he was Tibbs, the fake Tibbs was in I don't know if he was in the chat the last when I did the episode, or if
oh
he was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he said, "Oh, I'm gonna make adjustments." I said, "Please, Tibbs." That's all we're asking.
Tips heard you.
There's a fake Tibbs that be in the chat. Salute, Ajay.
Oh, salute, Aj.
Salute, ladies. Just want to drop by real quick, say what's up for a couple of minutes, hanging out with you guys. It's always a
Appreciate you.
pleasure. Just I always enjoy your content, so I just want to drop by for a couple of minutes, keep y'all company, and of course, talk Knicks, talk Knicks. I want to do
Exactly.
that all day. We want to do that.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
How's your nerves, Ajay? Are you nervous going into game 6 tomorrow? Because I know
Nah,
you.
nah, nah, not at all. Like, and I don't know if you saw the last show on NBK. Shout out to NBK. The
Yeah,
last show, I told him, I said, "Hey, listen, we're good," because I don't see, I seen enough. I seen enough to know that all right, this team's not, I mean, we can beat ourselves. That team can't
Yeah.
beat us. Okay. I remember after game 4, they was talking about, oh, the Pacer defense. I'm like, what Pacer defense? Like, what are they watching? What game are they watching? Is it a different game from what I was watching? Because I
Yeah.
ain't seen no Pacer defense. I saw the Knicks missing shots. That's all I saw. We didn't have our legs. We didn't have any energy. These guys, they
Exactly.
putting in a lot of minutes. They logging in a lot of minutes, so they were tight. All right. Stop with the Pacer defense. Stop the madness. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I after game 4. Remember, yeah, I came on the.
your sound.
You got me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. My hand hit by accident. Yeah, so and I was like, I don't know what everybody's nervous about, man. This is game 3. It took a miracle for them to get out of game. It's the same thing with Philly, right? Remember that Maxi, half court Hail Mary. Like
Oh, yeah.
after I saw that, I was like, oh, we got that. We got the series in the bag. If it takes that kind of miracle for them to like survive, forget it. They can't forget it. It's a done
right.
deal. And the same thing with the Pacers. They just don't have. They're not physical enough. They can't.
Yeah.
They just can't take it. The only problem is if we don't have our legs, if we're tired. Because when we're tired, it's not just physically, but we make a lot of mental errors.
Yeah,
Mm.
Okay, if we avoid those, I mean, case in point, game 3. Remember game 3? Like we made so many mistakes in the last 3 minutes of the game. DiVincenzo, a ball coming off the rim, goaltending. It was like 3/4 of the balls off the rim. Leave it alone. I hard tapping the ball back to the paces. All kind of mistakes. Listen, so far, I don't see anything in the paces that tell me that they're a better team. You know,
For
if we
sure.
if we come out with no energy, we come out flat, or if we miss it. Listen, this is the NBA. Anything could happen. You could have a night like Game 4 where we're just missing shots.
right.
Okay, yeah, then they can survive. But nobody's gonna come and talk to me about pace or defense. Stop, please. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think, and salute, shout out to DJ Shuttle. All aboard. He said Tuesday to Friday should be enough rest. I was going to say that, and I agree. I think the Knicks should be well rested. There should be no reason why guys don't have their feet, their legs underneath them. It's
I
one
agree.
thing if guys are missing shots, we may be off, but the Knicks are well equipped to be able to still battle and make things happen, whether it's on the defensive end and figuring out scoring and whatnot. I think the biggest thing is for me, like I was saying earlier, is the energy needs to be there for the Knicks. The Knicks have to come out with high energy because Indiana wasn't expecting the Knicks to come out with that high energy as they did. I think that they thought, okay, yeah, the Knicks are going to come out swinging, but they didn't think that they was going to be punching and not letting go.
Yeah.
And then I think what was even more impressive was the way Hartenstein was out rebounding, considering which, and I'm not going to say, you know, Siakam and Turner did a lot of in the first like 4 games where they were holding Hartenstein by the waist or pulling on his jersey and preventing him. And Hartenstein was trying to tell the refs, like, yo, they're holding me. But somehow Hartenstein was able to figure that out and still be able to get the rebounds. But I want him to continue to do that. I don't want to see him, as Ajay kind of touched on briefly, was I that volleyball tap out is great, when you have Knicks players who are near the perimeter to grab the tip out, the tip rebound. But there's a few things that worry me is that the referees are going to clearly be in favor of Indiana, as they do, because they're going to be home. And quite honestly, Scott Foster was calling a lot of ticky tack fouls in
Lady,
game 5. The game had just started, and even the commentators like, "What's going on? The game just started. He keeps blowing the whistle over every little thing."
lady, you being super diplomatic right now. You being nice about it. I'm gonna put it this way: the refs did their very best to give Indiana that game. You
Yeah,
just wasn't having it. I mean, at some point they gave up. At some point, the refs
yeah,
gave up. They like, you know what? The Knicks really want this game. There's nothing we can do about it. The first half, it was insane. Like
yeah.
even the calls that went our way, they shot a free throw. Like some, the call we get the call, but somehow they end up shooting a free throw. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they really tried. They really tried it. But I mean, at some point they just gave up. They're like, you know what? Forget. Let's go for the next one. So the Knicks got to know that, and the next one they got to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely important that if they get that lead, they have to maintain it. Because, like you said, the refs, I mean, like it was like they was trying to give them the game. So it's like the only way that not that's the only way, but one of the keys for them is to maintain that lead and to put Indiana away. So the refs, but they can always, call these little ticky tack fouls. But if the Knicks, if they continue to play like they did and bottle game 5 up and carried over to game 6, there's no way these refs are gonna, give the Pacers this game, because otherwise it's like now something ain't right. And I sometimes people say, oh, it's a money thing, they want to extend it, but the Knicks gotta definitely like come out with their high energy and definitely be the aggressor. I don't care if you're away or not. You can, Indiana's beatable. They're not
Well,
that this
Diva,
this
especially if you're away, you got to come out aggressive. Especially
yeah,
if
for
because
sure.
you got to set the tone early on. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Did did you do you both are you both fond of the adjustment Tibbs made for the defense having Deuce do a full court press on Halliburton, which for me reminded me of in round 1 when Batum or Oubre was doing a full court defensive pressure on Brunson, which is something that I was looking for us to do against either TJ McConnell or Halliburton. Do you both like Deuce playing that full court press and then Deuce setting the screens for Brunson on the offensive end instead of Hartenstein?
It was a great adjustment, and it wasn't just defensive. It was also more so on offense because see the way the Pacers like actually they continued to do that in Game 5. That's hey, shout out to Ron Still Knicks fan.
Salute, Ron.
So the Pacers and the mistake they made, they couldn't adjust mid game to what we gave them, right? So what Tibbs gave them is that introducing Deuce in the lineup. Now Deuce is setting the picks, right? So now you
Mhm.
have two guards, and the worst thing that can happen for it is that Deuce was hitting his shots. So
Yeah.
now Deuce sets the pick, and then they all focus it on Brunson. So
But yeah,
by the time the pick is done, they both gravitated towards Brunson. What does that do? Deuce wide
Brunson
open.
takes
If somebody runs at Deuce, Burke's wide open.
Hmm.
Somebody else wide open. Okay. So they couldn't adjust. Rick Carlisle, I, I mean, I don't know how you adjust it. I think I know how they're gonna adjust to that, but it's kind of tough to do that mid game, especially when you're down by 10, 12 points. Now you're just gonna trying to continue what you're doing and hope that it works and hope that the Knicks start to miss their shots. But unfortunately for them, the Knicks weren't missing their shots. I mean, they were on. So, but
yeah, and Exactly. I love that, that adjustment that Tibbs did because in game 4, Neesmith was like, he had Brunson at full court. And he was doing a lot of fouling. He was even impeding his landing. So, Tibbs had, I'm not that he had to, but it was a nice adjustment that he did because, like you said, now, that focal points all on Brunson, and now Brunson has somebody that he can defer to, which was, you know, um, uh, Deuce. And, Deuce, he was hitting those shots, and like you said, then there was Burks. So that was like, man, I guess sometimes we was calling for that, like how you said you was calling for, Tim to make that do what he did. And so I'm excited to see what's gonna hold up for game 6. Like, the Pacers, I think they're gonna, probably try to go big. Um, so you want like what's Tibbs gonna, do for game 6? And, but Tibbs, he's so defensive minded. You know, that's not a worry. But to me, what he did by inserting Deuce, like that was
Y-
like
y-
chef's kiss with what he did.
Yeah,
And
and Divalox, you got to remember, we started that lineup a few games during the season, and we know it worked.
Yeah,
yeah,
We know it worked. Remember when OG went down, OG Ananobi went down, Deuce replaced him in the lineup. So
yeah.
we had iHeart and then 4 guards, and then
Hmm.
we did pretty well. We were winning games that way. So this is not something that we didn't do. We know it worked.
Yeah,
During
for
the season.
sure.
So
yeah, and I know Diva Locks. She said a few times how she notices how Deuce plays better on the floor at the same time playing with Brunson. So I did like that adjustment. My next question to that though is like, what do we do on the defensive end to stop TJ McConnell? Because who do you put on him? Because I thought Josh Hart did a better job guarding Siakam, right? Siakam wasn't able to get the best of Josh. But who stops TJ if you have Deuce playing a full court press on Halliburton, and if TJ's in the same time as Halliburton, who's guarding him?
well,
TJ McConnell.
so in a f- in few sets, he was paired up with Jalen Brunson. Okay, so the good thing about that is TJ McConnell. He doesn't like to shoot the three. He likes to drive. What happens when he drives? I Heart, Precious, Josh Hart, like those guys are there. They rotate and wait for him. Okay. Um, I mean, he's very crafty, so he's gonna get some points, but they rotate, and Brunson gets help. When he drives, because he likes to drive TJ McConnell.
Right,
The problem is, if he's on his game, of course, when you rotate, now he makes the pass underneath to the guard, to whoever you know was whoever defender rotate to help him out. So let's say Miles Turner, or let's say Precious is checking Siakam, and then Siakam Precious goes to help with TJ McConnell. Now Pascal Siakam's wide open.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got it. I mean that's the trade off. But for some reason in Game 5 that wasn't happening. He wasn't doing it. And of course a lot of times too when they pick Deuce McBride, he ended up with Deuce McBride. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because when they pick to free up Deuce from Tyrese Halliburton, now Deuce is on TJ McConnell. Depending, it depends because they had different lineups out there. Sometimes they had TJ and Halliburton. Sometimes they had him and what's his name that hit that 3-point that prayer.
Oh,
Them hard, right?
Nimhart, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it depends on the lineup, but in the switch, and they switch sometimes too. The Knicks switch back because they take a little longer to get into their set. So I don't know. I watched that game a couple of times. It's I don't know. It's kind of tough to figure out, how they're going to adjust or and if they make an adjustment, Tibbs, he's got to be on his game because now you have to adjust at halftime, mid game. You just got to come up with another scheme to throw them off. You know,
So do you think Tibbs is gonna do that same lineup for Game 6? What are your thoughts?
absolutely,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Why steer from what was working?
yeah,
That
exactly.
lineup worked, and
Yeah, listen.
I,
So that line, the only in Game Five, there one thing I really wish didn't happen in Game Five is I don't know if you noticed, Jalen Brunson still played like 42 or
40.
43 minutes or
43.
something like that. I really wish like he was under 40, like 38 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we need him to rest as much as possible, and he does have a foot injury. Like he's not he won't use that as an excuse, but he does have.
Mhm.
You could tell sometimes coming up. After they body slam him. When he comes up, he
Yeah.
hobbles a little bit.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I just wish he didn't play 42, 43 minutes, whatever he played. Um, but listen, I think Tibbs probably did that because he know we had, one more day, one more rest day, that Jalen Brunson could probably sustain it. And I'm sure he checks with Brunson too. Ask him, listen, can you play? Do you want to play? Like he's comfortable.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. I've noticed that too when Brunson gets up. He's sometimes a little slower, but he takes it like a champ. He does what he has to do. And I was a little surprised that Tibbs did play Jalen Brunson 43 minutes, considering he had everyone else under 40. Hartenstein only played 31.
yeah,
Dante played 30. Josh played 39. And then Precious played 23. Alex Burke played 23. Alex Burke he's been really big for us coming off the bench.
huge,
I
huge.
think as long as Brunson doesn't play hero ball and he passes to guys and distributes the ball, even if he allows the defense he attracts the defense towards him, there's guys that's going to be open. Alex Burks looks very comfortable and confident out there playing against Indiana. Like he knows he can get those threes. He knows he can get the shots off. He's that veteran experience against a younger inexperienced playoff Indiana Pacers team. I think Burks playing the 23 minutes. I mean, if you ask me, there's times where I feel like he can play a couple of more minutes. Tibbs can play him a few more minutes just because of what he can give us scoring wise, because he's needed. Now, if you can get a game from a high scoring game from Devo, that'd be great.
Oh, we
But
would.
who do you guys think for tomorrow's game besides Brunson? Who else needs to step in and give us the points? Do you need Dante to carry the other half of the load, or do you need it to be a steady balance between Dante, Josh Hart, give you a little Burke, so such and such, such and do you need to be that way? Because when we play games and Brunson tends to be the main character as far as scoring goes, the Knicks are not as successful. But when we have at least four guys in double figures and can contribute scoring wise, the Knicks are successful, as well as when they keep the turnovers down. But do you think that tomorrow's game is one of those games where you need guys like Burks, Devo, because Dante was 0 for 8 from the last game. But if he can give us, 15 to 20 points, I mean, that helps out. And granted, what I did like was that even though he struggled, just like when Deuce was struggling prior to the last game, they did the other little things that made an impact on the floor. But do you guys think that the scoring is going to play a big part of it, from the role players?
me personally, I like balanced scoring. Everybody's giving a little something. Um, if it's 23, 15, and you got some steals, blocks, and whatever, and your defenses, is there. I mean, I'm fine with, like you said, even though DiVincenzo he didn't score, it was the impact and the other little things that he did. Um, we got the win, so it didn't matter. He was off. He had an off night, but it was the other things that he did. where it showed up in his stats and just, his hustle plays and things like that. So I'm fine with just balanced scoring. Um, where Brunson don't have to carry the load and feel like or not feel, but where he has to score so much. If everybody contribute, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Listen, DiVincenzo at least 20, 25 points tomorrow.
But yeah,
Listen, man.
yeah,
Uh
he's gonna be bound though tomorrow for sure.
no, listen. All that fake tough guy smack uh 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 Miles Turner, all that nonsense over there. He's gonna tomorrow. Listen, man, Devo is going off. I can I can feel it. He's going off tomorrow. Listen, I listen. Jalen Brunson, he's the main feature on our offense, right?
Mhm.
I don't mind him giving us 44 points and everybody else around 12, 15, because listen, let's face it. It's clear now that they cannot stop Jalen Brunson, right?
Mhm.
If they can't stop him, go every time. I say that. It's good. Like your guys are gonna get involved because he's not gonna take every shot. Okay. But if they cannot stop him, let him go. Set him free. Let him shoot. If he's gonna score four, listen. If he's gonna take a 50 piece from him tomorrow, listen. Let's go for 50. You know,
Yeah.
DiVincenzo 20, 25 points, whatever you're doing. Josh Hart maybe 4 points, but 20 rebounds. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on what the game. Tibbs always tell you the game tells you what to do. If the game tells Brunson we need a 50 piece tonight, all right, go for 50.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's nice. It looks good on paper to have balanced scoring, but what looks even better is at the very end, which team has the dub. That's all that matters. I don't care if Josh Hart, like I think he had a game this season with 0 point, like 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 like whatever. That's good. We won that game. He had no points. I'm good
Right.
with that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but by the same token, I don't want Brunson to play hero ball. If they're throwing three guys at you, that means there's two open guys. Find them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Don't try to shoot over them. Like what was game 3? That last shot he took. I understand the shot because he
Yeah.
thought he got fouled or he thought he's gonna get the call. That's why it was a heat. But
Right.
on a play like that, we had like 8 seconds left. There was plenty of time there to make a better play. Don't try to be the hero when you don't have to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Listen, if it calls for 44, drop 44.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, Ajay. I agree. Like Brunson just has to realize, and Paris Jugger is alluding to that too. No one on Indiana could stop Brunson.
Yeah.
But if they are double teaming you, there's guys that's open. And if he does, when he does pass the ball to those other role players on the team, I need those guys to take action and be with it and be ready to score or make a move to the basket or get fouled while trying.
Yep.
Um, and I feel like one of the main guys I'm really putting that on is Josh Hart. Because I think sometimes Josh, he'll have an open three and teams dare him to take it. And sometimes he'll do that move like where he's about to hesitate to shoot it and then he'll drive and kick it out to someone and then and then
Mm.
he has times where he will take it. But I just want to see the Knicks capitalize like every time down, make it a good possession. Let's not waste the shot clock. Like really take advantage and make it somewhat of a good possession on the offensive end. And I agree. I don't think that everyone needs to be in a high scoring realm. Yes, I would love it to be balanced scoring. But if Brunson gives you 40, 45 points, and maybe you have Alex Burke and um, Dante could give you scoring, great. If that's what gets the job done, great. And then you have the other guys that do the other. Who knows? Deuce may come alive and get real loose, and Deuce give you 20, 25 points, give you some steals, give you. So I just think everyone just needs to be ready to want it more and just end this series already. This
Yeah,
way the Knicks can get the much needed rest that they need to get, because the Knicks are going to need to be prepared for Boston. Boston has a nice, they're on a nice vacation right now. They have a 5 day rest. And I don't know if you heard what I was saying, Ajay, earlier. I was listening to Alan Hahn, and he was saying how even with the Knicks winning on Friday, the Knicks should really try to hope that the Timberwolves can force a game 7. So this way the
right.
Knicks can rest. Because if not,
Yeah,
the way the NBA got this playoff set up,
yeah,
they want
yeah.
the game just like they trying to get it
The
over
way,
with.
yeah, the way they have it scheduled is if Minnesota wins tonight, to tie that series, they're gonna be a game on Sunday. Their game seven
Right,
is gonna be on Sunday.
right,
So because and that will push our game back to Tuesday.
right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
even
So
more.
yeah, and that I think that's what he's alluding to. Hey man, but listen, all season it's been a challenge for us all season. And there are a few things out there that people are saying and you don't notice them until you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Think
Mhm.
about this, right? When the season started, the the starting lineup from when the season started to the starting lineup now, only Brunson was a starter. All the other guys were bench players.
Yeah,
Now those bench players right now are wrecking havoc in NBA right now.
That
exactly.
speaks volumes about this Knicks team.
Yeah.
The fact that, it's funny to me that people look at this Knicks team still as a joke, because they're looking at us saying,
No,
well, the East wasn't that strong, so that's why the Knicks finished in second.
no,
Boston
lady,
wasn't really challenged, so no one's really came across them, and
they,
that's why the Knicks were able to make second. Because really, it should have been a team like Milwaukee, or it should have been the Sixers.
they,
But the fact that Brunson's the only starter and he's carrying his team round by round throughout an entire season, that speaks volumes, and that's part of the story that this team is telling. So I love the Knicks being the underdogs and teams counting them out, because I'm like,
love
yo,
it.
this is not this hasn't been done.
And they don't really think the Knicks is a joke. Like 80% of those guys, they say the Knicks are a joke just because, we're probably one of the, like, the Knicks, the Lakers, and the Celtics, we're the most passionate fan base, right?
Yeah,
And when you have clowns like Broussard, um, 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 Gilbert Arenas, who else? Paul Pierce,
Four
all,
pairs.
all, all those guys who are actually right now are irrelevant because they don't play anymore. They're really irrelevant. So
right,
why do we even mention their names? Because they're saying the Knicks are bad, right? Because otherwise, would I wouldn't even mention Paul Pierce's name or Gilbert Arenas' name right now. Gilbert Arenas was forgotten. Like he was, he's just another player who was in the NBA. But they say bad things about the Knicks because they know we'll react to it.
right,
But what's getting a little sticky right now for them is like they're almost like digging a hole to like put themselves in a hole because you keep saying this and then the Knicks keep playing better and better and Bronson keeps proving people wrong and wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I think Perkins had an interview on Knicks Fan TV, maybe I heard, or either that or on ESPN. But he was saying like a lot of guys they're just embarrassed right now to say they were wrong about Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on, because
Yeah,
they can say negative things about the Knicks, but they won't go back on that next day and not even so much as retract, but just say, "Oh, I was wrong."
right.
Like Paul Pierce. Oh, for when Game 4, oh, the Knicks is done. Oh man, the Pacers got this. Well, if you can say that, then why can't you go back on? I forgot the show he's on with Keon Johnson.
undisputed.
What was the under? Yeah. Now, why can't you go on and say,
Well,
"Oh well, the Knicks
after
is not me"? Say
they,
something good about them, but
they,
you always have
Diva,
something bad.
actually, right, rather than do that, I think the day after that game, he took off. He called in sick.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Yeah,
He took that
Well,
day off. He's like, man, I can't. No, I can't do it. So
yeah.
yeah,
But you know the Knicks, they don't have anything to prove to those guys. Like Jalen said, it's the guys that are in this locker room and they put on the Knick uniform. That's what matters, you know. So you're gonna always have your doubters, your haters, your naysayers, but together they know what they're capable of doing. Like these are the guys that they practice day in and day out, and they know what these guys are capable and what they can do. So you're gonna always, and I think people just say that just to stay relevant,
clickbaiting,
uh,
clickbaiting. That's all it is.
and of course controversy.
Yeah.
So
Everybody has to say something so they trying to get hits. That's
right. Exactly. Yeah, this Knicks team is telling a story. They've been doing it this entire regular season and they're doing it here in the playoffs. And a lot of people have, like we were just saying, this Knicks team. A lot of people have the Knicks one and done round one. And a lot of people have the Knicks losing this round against Indiana, which is absurd to me, but I'm not surprised. But I think at the same time, the NBA writers, the sports analysts want the storyline to be New York versus Boston. And quite honestly, the Knicks are going to be the first team to actually challenge Boston. I'm not saying if and when because I'm already speaking into an existence. It will be New York and Boston. And the Knicks are going to be the first team to actually challenge Boston because Boston hasn't, it's been too easy for them. It's been a
they can't
cakewalk.
walk through.
But TNT had I don't know if you guys caught it, but when it was halftime, they had 50s. I'll beat your head, boy, playing because they was trying to say that's how the Knicks are coming out. But that's how this Knicks team is. And I think that song needs to play when we play Boston because it's been too easy. I watched what Al Horford did the other night, and it was like a layup line for him.
yeah.
It was too easy. Every little thing he was doing. I mean, you know, Cleveland, I'm not surprised they're not even a match for us and can't contain the Knicks. So they can't, clearly can't play a team like Boston. But I'm very confident going in tomorrow's game, even without an OG Ananobi playing, because this team, that next man up mentality holds weight on this Knicks team, and guys truly stay ready. I was saying earlier, Ajay, how I even gave props to Precious Achua because he came in a game ready. He
Yeah.
made an impact when he was on that floor defensively.
Yeah.
Swatted the ball away. He had some nice blocks. He was just ready. Alex Burke stayed ready on that bench. And I even will go back and say, because I was like, I don't want to see Alex Burks
Oh,
playing, but he
I
shut me up. And that's what I want players to do, to shut me up so I can be like, hey, you know what? There you go. Go out there and show us that you're ready to get out there and play. And guys staying ready on this team and showing that they can go out there. I mean, listen, I know a lot of us, we wanted to see Shake. Tibbs gave us a little bit of Shake. It wasn't for many minutes. It was only for about 2-3 minutes. But listen, he put him out there. And
yeah.
Tibbs was in his ear. I heard, shout out to Tony Crow. He said, yeah, I think Tibbs was like, letting him know, like, I may need you. We may need to put you out there. And listen, if you have to utilize those guys like a Shake, I think he can go out there and give you a little something off the bench because this Knicks team, I think that's part of this Knicks culture. It's like you need to be ready because if Tibbs calls you in, you don't want to lose that trust factor with him. Because if not, Tibbs is like, I'm not going to put you in.
Matter of fact, you want to build that trust, right? That's your
Right.
opportunity to build it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Ladies, I'm gonna have to jump off. Unfortunately, man, it's so good hanging out with you guys, talking about the Knicks. Shout out to the chat. Listen, we're gonna be on later on Dope Soul. I want to say 9 o'clock. That's our usual.
Right.
That's our time usually on Thursday. So our usual Thursday show is gonna be on 9 o'clock. Of course, we're gonna be talking about all that. Lady and the Chef. I know you probably will be in the chat, so you know,
Of course.
holla, make it be known
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
there.
I
Right?
absolutely will. And guys, go check Queen out.
Yeah.
Ajay, Jeff. I don't know who else is going to be on tonight's panel. 9 p.m.
Jarrell gonna be on
Oh
there.
yeah,
A lot
Jarrell's
of the
going to be on.
regulars, yeah.
Shout out
So
to I am
yeah,
Jarrell as
and Queen,
well.
of course, if if Queen, I'm sure Queen put it, she'll put it in the chat, lady. When she put in chat, if you want to jump on for a few minutes, you're always welcome to Diva Lux. If you want to jump on later on and not for a few minutes, man, come on.
I'll be listening though.
Yeah.
Put
All
up
right.
my little
So
comments every now and again.
yeah, I have to jump off, man. Thanks for having me, and I'm gonna check. We'll see you guys later at 9 o'clock on Dope Soul.
Of
All
course,
right.
and thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
All right, later.
Salute to Ajay, always showing love. Yeah,
Yeah.
this Knicks team with the next man up mentality holds weight here. And I love to see guys get ready for when Tibbs. I told you at one point in game 5, Tibbs looked at the bench.
Oh yeah, you.
He realized he have really nobody to put in. He just turned his head back around and said, I'ma just rock with who's out there. Even though the Knicks was doing their thing, but Tibbs was like, well, I'ma just stick with who's playing out there and wait for a timeout. But I just don't want the Knicks to get caught up in, and I salute to the Knicks team as a whole, who they haven't fell into the trap of one of those teams who's constantly complaining to the refs and looking for a call. They're standing up for themselves for calls that should have been called, but they're getting back at the other end and falling back on defense and doing what they
Yeah,
need to do. You know what I mean? And that is what I love to see. Do I think that yes, sometimes you need to put a little word in the ref's ear and say, "Yo, he's pulling on me," or you know what I'm saying? He's whatever. He's
hmm
traveling. He's in the paint 3 seconds. So you need to let them know that. But block out all that noise. We know the refs are going to call the game tomorrow in Indiana's favor. The refs are not going to call fouls. That's going to be blatant and noticeable on the Knicks. We know that Indiana's going to play how they're going to play. They're going to come out with high energy. They may be spot on with the shooting, but the Knicks have to come out quicker, more aggressive, that gritty, aggressive defense and offense. The Knicks have to want it more tomorrow because that's important. Showing that playing like you want it more. That's key. Guarding that perimeter as best as possible, not allowing a ton of easy baskets and layups. Try to limit the fouls, those little ticky tack fouls. You can't have that tomorrow because you can't afford to have, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Deuce McBride, getting in foul trouble because Halliburton may try to get Deuce fouled out. You know what I mean? TJ McConnell may try to, they may try to play that game. So the Knicks just stay 5-10 steps ahead of Indiana. You know that they're going to bring this your way. Block all of that out and let's end this series tomorrow. So this way you guys can rest and be prepared for Tuesday.
for sure. Yep,
Don't
I
even
agree.
allow it go into a game 7 because now the control shifts. And now you allow Indiana to think that they have an opportunity. You allow their confidence to come up. This is do or die for Indiana. If they don't take advantage tomorrow, which they won't, they're out of here, which they rightfully deserve. Get out of here. The Knicks deserve to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, in which they will. Jalen Brunson said it. That pass he didn't make to force a game 7 against Miami last year haunted him. He said, I thought about it the entire summer. And it made him realize I'm not going to make that mistake again. So this Knicks team, I want to see them come out ready, not sluggish. Like DJ Shuttle said earlier, they had more than enough time to rest. There should be no reason why guys don't have their legs underneath them. Tibbs needs to run with that same adjustment he made with having Deuce play the full court press against Halliburton. Be prepared for Siakam because Siakam's another one we have to be able to hold on defense. We're not guarding him as well as we should.
Yeah.
And I want to see the defense tighten up on Siakam, Turner, McConnell, and Halliburton. And you got to watch for that bug of Obi, because Obi, he loves to just run around all crazy. But the Knicks play how you did, play harder, come out stronger. This team will be successful tomorrow, and they will move on to be able to play Boston. And that's going to be even more exciting, that series moving on. It's going to be exciting to see. It's been exciting to see this team continue to get better and the growth that this team has shown. But it's going to be even more exciting to see them get out of round two, which is where we ended last year, and to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals as so many people continue to discredit and discount this team to their abilities of where this Knicks team can go. So, you know, I watch, I see Julius Randle on the bench, and Julius, I could tell he wants to get out there so bad.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
put me in, coach. I just take my shoulder up. Julius want to get out there so bad. He want to get out there so bad because Julius is like, yo, look at what they doing out there. Like, and
But
just imagine if we had Julius Randle out there. You got that extra scoring out there, another option.
it's nice that he's there because A, for support, and then B, he sees things by just being on the bench, and that's helpful for the players. So that's a plus because it's like another set of eyes, like a coach's assistant. So just having him out there is also, you know, uh, you know, is good for the guys too because you have that support. And he can't be out there physically, but he's out there with them, just observing.
Right. Salute to AP. AP. He said, yes, let's close it out. No games, focus, no turnovers, hit free throws, no slow first quarters, and no third quarter of doom. Agreed.
Oh man, well said.
Agreed. Agreed. Because my biggest thing with tomorrow's game is I just don't want the Knicks to allow it to be a close game. You know what I mean? Like, if you got to pull away with 5, 6 minutes left in the fourth or the top of the fourth and get a 12, 15, 16 point lead, hold on to that. Don't allow Indiana to crawl into it. And then now, it's the last 2, 3 minutes of the
Somebody
game.
come,
And
yeah.
right, right. And then you got somebody that makes a miracle shot.
Well, Well, I definitely think we're definitely gonna have a game four because, like you said, these guys they're rested. They have their legs under them, so we definitely won't see a repeat of game four. But like you said, we don't want no closeout or no last second shot, on Indiana's part, or to go into overtime. So we don't want that. The Knicks know what's at stake, and not that they're cocky or whatever, but it's more confident that they know that they are a better team, and they know Indiana's style of play. That they're not a physical team. They're more just want to just shoot you out. So if they put that aggressive ness on them, Indiana won't stand a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Indiana doesn't play defense. And when I was watching, I sent you that video of awful coaching on YouTube. This guy be stressed out. Um, when he was pausing it, I was like, wow, there was a lot. That's why, like what Ajay was saying earlier, a lot of our players were open because Indiana, like a few times, it was Obi. He was in the wrong spots. He was
Yeah,
like at the top of the key, and then we had someone open in the corner, and he was trying to rush down to the corner. So,
they were confused
I just,
instantly.
right. So there's going to be someone open because Indiana tried doubling Brunson, and they're probably going to go after that again tomorrow. So as long as Brunson's able to make the smart pass, like Ajay was saying, just watch the passing too. Don't start making, these silly, minute mistakes at the end of the game. Those little things cost. And Eddie brought up a good point in the chat. The Knicks got to make their free throws. You got to make sure you're knocking down free throws because those add up. You missed two here, one here, four. That's 7, 8 points you could have had. That could have helped you gain a lead over them, or a bigger lead over them. So I really want to see guys just take their time. I think it was Burks, he had got to the free throw line and he like shot the ball so fast. I said, "All right, does he have
Oh
somewhere to
yeah.
be? Why are you shooting it so fast? You got somewhere to go after the game?" I'm like, my guy, take your time. Take a deep breath before you shoot it. He just threw it up. I was like, wow. Like, and I think he missed both. So this game, if you look at game 5 and you looked at the Knicks players' faces, the Knicks had this focus. Like, we're not going out like this and allowing Indiana to take control. And I believe that's the same focal point that the Knicks are going to have in tomorrow's game. Like, let's just end this. Let's get it over with. Let's win tomorrow's game. Let's close it out and make it even sweeter by closing it out on Indiana's undefeated home court throughout this playoffs. So let them cry later, and Rick will probably be complaining in the post conference game and saying this, that, and the third. But the Knicks got this. My biggest thing is I just want them to win so they can get the rest before we go to the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston, who's been resting since yesterday. So today was their first full day of rest, actually. So
Yeah.
salute Patrick McManus. He said, hoping for a Brunson statement game. Yeah. Well, I know Brunson's gonna do his thing regardless. Unfortunately, Indiana cannot guard Brunson. They've tried different combinations and it just doesn't work against him. And the great thing is that if they are doubling, tripling him, there's gonna be guys open. And I think what also helped in the game for us to win in game 5 was that look how confident Brunson was passing Deuce the ball. And Deuce stays ready. Deuce was knocking down shots, and Indiana wasn't prepared for that. They was probably so damn worried about Brunson and thought Dante was gonna be lighting their butts on fire that
Mhm.
Deuce was out there just, he was doing his thing. So, like I said, if we can get that assistance from Deuce tomorrow, Burks, and then you could have Dante, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And as long as other guys helping crash the boards, Josh, Dante help out and Precious help out Hartenstein, we'll be okay. Put the clamps in. You got to stop Siakam, Turner, and Halliburton. McConnell's quick. He's going to get those easy buckets and slip past guys. But if you could stop those three guys, Indiana's team is really kind of like a Philly 76ers team part two, where they only really have two main guys. The other
Yeah.
guy is not going to give you much. So this Knicks team is more than capable of stopping this Indiana team because they really don't have many options. They don't. You may get a guy here and there, may get you a nice clean block against the Knicks. You got TJ McConnell who's going to drive. He loves to drive to the basket. But and they're going to do everything in their power. They're probably going to put a full court press on Brunson, so he can't bring the ball down, which is fine. But I'm not worried about what this next team is gonna do. This is Brunson's team. He's proved it. He showed up when it counts. Like he could have been a bust. Hartenstein could have been a bust. What if Hartenstein wasn't good? This Knicks team would be doomed because
Yeah.
Mitch is not reliable. He's too injury prone. And this is something we really are going to dive into at the end of the season. This is something we really have to talk about. What does this Knicks team do with an unhealthy, not reliable Mitchell Robinson?
And on the flip side, Brunson, and that's what a point guard does. He makes the team better and his teammates better. Let's face it, a lot of that's attributed to him. I mean, yeah, a player's gonna play, they have the skill, but when you have somebody great like that on your team, it forces you to be good. I mean, okay, see, they're not good for nothing. When you have like that leadership and stuff on the floor, and this is somebody that you practice with, you're in the trenches with. It makes you, become a great play because you see, like Brunson, he's laser focused, he's disciplined, um, and it like you said, it becomes infectious. So that to have somebody like that, and just to think he was a second round pick, and Dallas like gave him away. Thank you, Dallas. So kudos to them for not giving him what he asked for. So we got the best part of the deal, and he's making these guys better by his play, his actions, and so this is why they step up as well. So I believe they're all locked in and laser focused, and just put Indiana away. That's all.
Exactly. And that's all that it's going to take for them to get that done. Shout out to the New York Liberty. They won their season opener against Washington Mystics, 80-85. Had solid scoring. The Liberty actually weren't playing good defense, so they somehow woke up. They had to because last year Washington actually put the clamps on the Liberty and embarrassed them, kind of like that game four with the Knicks in Indiana. But they won on this was Tuesday, 85-80. Jonquel Jones had 25 points, 8 rebounds. But Nigel Laney finished with 20 points. Stewie had 8 points, 8 rebounds. Sabrina Onescu finished with 15 points, eight assists, 7 rebounds. Um, yeah, I mean, it wasn't that much help scoring wise, but they did what they needed to do. They're actually playing tonight against Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. This is why there was no Knicks game tonight. Liberty are actually up 25-31. I really want the Liberty to beat them just because I like Caitlin Clark, but I just feel like the WNBA is just making everything about her. And it's like there are other players in the league. Um, so and actually Caitlin's first game, she had 10 turnovers. Um, she was guarded by who did they play? Washington?
No,
No, they
Connecticut. Did they play
played
Connecticut Sun?
Chicago, Connecticut. It was Connecticut. You are absolutely right. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love her as a player, but I don't think the success of her will dictate the success of the other players or the league, because the league is 25 years strong. So if she doesn't have success, that's no, you know, nothing against the league itself. There are other players that are just as skilled and as qualified. They put in the work. And I think they deserve the accolades, the mentions, just as well as she does. Um, you know, I think for them to constantly shine a light on her, I don't want to say diminishes the other players, but it should be distributed equally, because she wasn't the only person in the draft. There was a lot of, yeah, she went one, but there are a lot of other young ladies that put in just as much work, if not more. It's just so, yeah, talent wise, yeah, she's there, but I think it just I just don't like all the hype and the hoopla around her. I love her and I wish her, I like her game. I wish her much success, and I know she will, but I just wish that they would give them all equal shine.
Yeah, I mean, they gave Caitlin a chartered plane. They gave her a private plane.
Well, the Indiana Fever.
No, I know it was the Indiana
Yeah.
Fever, but the problem with that is that a few years ago, certain team owners would want to do that, and the WNBA would ban it because they would say it's not fair that all teams can't have a private plane.
Hmm.
Okay, that has nothing to do with us. If we want to get a private plane and our owner could afford it, then so be it. But Brianna Stewart had tweeted how, I think only two or three teams right now are getting private chartered planes.
Yeah.
I'm not understanding what's going on. Like,
Well, they said starting May, I think 21st or something like that, 20, whatever. All teams will have chartered
yeah,
planes. It will go into effect. I forgot what date it was, but it's lo and behold, why one of their teams is one of the first ones to get a chartered plane.
exactly. Exactly. And they only doing that too because of the safety, because what's her name? What's her name?
What team she plays for?
From not Phoenix. What's
Oh,
her name? That she had the whole incident where she was in Russia.
oh, Brittany Griner. Yeah, that's from Phoenix Mercury. Yeah.
Yes, I was right about the team. They only doing that because Brittany Griner had someone make a really offensive comment to her while they were flying commercial to a game, and someone asked her a really offensive comment about what did she do to help her get out of jail and if she did something explicit to get out of prison. That and then a few other players had brought up safety issues while traveling, right? And then you also think about, okay, a player like Caitlin Clark, you're gonna have people coming up to her wanting pictures and this, and she's just trying to fly to get to the next game. And then it was also causing players no time to practice before games. They were just having to get on a layup line and having to play. So, these things should have been in place long ago. It's sad that it's like these things are just now happening. And while I agree with you with the whole Caitlin Clark getting all the spotlight, this was the first class where I'm sure there's plenty of people knew more than one female basketball player getting drafted besides Caitlin Clark. Whereas in previous draft classes, you probably only knew maybe one person. You know what I mean? But in this class, there was plenty of women who, and they're bowling. Caitlin Brink out in Los Angeles, bowling out there in LA. And I loved her game. I've been following her since she's been playing in Stanford. There's plenty of other women. There's some women who we talked about who got waived, who we were like, it sucks that they didn't get to make a team. But I just think that I don't want the league to become so Caitlin Clark infatuated that, you know, one, I think that can play a mental part on a player because she has all this pressure and she just wants to play basketball. But you turn on the TV, she's in a bunch of commercials, which is another thing that's never happened from a marketing standpoint for WNBA players. So it is a great thing, the attention that she's bringing to the league. And it's a great thing when you have other brands. Because last year was the first time we saw the Liberty All Star game have a bunch of brands that were like being spotlighted in the game. You had all these hair care brands and different brands, which I saw someone put that one time on Twitter or somewhere. They was like, where's all these natural hair care brands? Like, why are you guys not sponsoring and getting in these WNBA games? So this way you guys, you know what I mean? So I want to see Wingstop commercials with, or you go on Wingstop, how they sponsor the Knicks. I would love to see them have like a New York Liberty special, wing special or whatever when you go in, or you go to
Mhm.
McDonald's, you go on the app. If they show Rutgers one or the Mets one, you get a free fry. Do that with the WNBA as well. So nonetheless, we will dive deeper into the Liberty. But the Liberty also got to make up for last year as well, like how the Knicks do. They got making up to do. because that last championship game looked like we was watching a preseason game. Drop the ball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Vegas is not the better team. You could miss me with that. They're not the better team. They're a good team. I love Asia Wilson. I love her game. Point guard, Chelsea. I like them, but they're not the better team. So I love the fact that the Liberty ran it back, minus a few people, because Stephanie Dolson, they traded her to Washington. She's no longer with the team. I think that was it. I think there was like one other person who they waived, but for the most part, they kept the same squad. So we'll see. We'll be at some games this summer. We'll be uh recording or getting some shots in as much as we can from some games. So I'm looking forward to that. I know you had highlighted this Wonder Woman comment. Salute Wonder Woman said they forget the women who built the foundation in the WNBA. Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah, it's 25 years strong. It was there before she came, and I'm quite sure it'll survive if she were to leave. So again, it's no shade to her. I just wish that they would just, spotlight and give them all the same shine. Because and it's rightfully so. They deserve it just as much as her. And how do you expect for them to get the shine if you're not giving it to them? You know, so like I said, I wish her much success, and I will be watching again. Like we're gonna watch the game tonight when they're on now. So when we finish, I'm gonna definitely be tuned in. But I just want them to just be I don't want to say mindful, but just be you know just give everybody that equal shine because they all deserve it.
exactly. Yeah, and I think it's going to take Caitlin Clark an adjustment going into the WNBA. It's not college anymore, hun. The
Yeah,
women are bigger, stronger, faster. They're more experienced. A lot of these women that play in the WNBA also play overseas, so they're getting double experience. And she saw that her first game, turnovers left and right. She traveled, and she gets frustrated easily. Like in B, she gets frustrated. She gets, she starts yelling on the court. And I was like, I saw people commenting like on social media, like, "Welcome to the big leagues. This is not college anymore. This is a different ball game." There's women who's playing. They not just playing college ball or WNBA. They playing overseas in other countries and then bouncing right back to the WNBA because they don't get paid enough, so they got to bounce right back really quickly. Yeah, I agree. AP. The Liberty last year they were so close. That was actually, yeah, that was the closest the Liberty have gotten because it's normally just been Eastern Conference Finals. And the Liberty had that game because the Las Vegas Aces, they had a lot of people who got hurt. Chelsea Gray had got hurt. Candace Parker was out. So they had it. But the way they were playing, I remember you was like going off on the phone. You said this can't be real. The way they was playing was like they forgot how to play basketball.
yeah, yeah.
The defense wasn't there. It was such a weird game. Like even the crowd couldn't even get into it because we were like, what's happening? And I think they lost that last game by one, but isn't it like a round? Isn't it? It's not one game. It was like a
No, no,
round, right? Out of three, the
yeah.
best out of three, I think it was. Yeah, and Vegas won 3-1.
No, yeah, 3-1, yeah.
It was
Mhm.
3-1. The Liberty, they only won one game, so they definitely have some rebounding to do from last season for sure. I mean, because they had a great regular season record. They were like what the top two second team in the East, first or second team in the East. I gotta look to get my stats together for next episode, but this is the time when it matters, and this is what I say with the Knicks. You could do all of that you doing in the regular season, but when it comes down to the playoffs, this is when you gotta step it up. This is when you gotta turn it into a different level. It's like how you see, like how certain teams do, they'll coast throughout the regular season. Then when the playoffs come, they turn it up. because it's a different level playing field, you know? So Paris said Brittany Griner and Caitlin caused the chartered planes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying. Exactly, Parish. Yeah,
Sure.
Brittany Griner had an unfortunate situation, and then Caitlin Clark with the attention, that she's bringing. And I know Caitlin Clark is also bringing money into the league. The New York Liberty also announced a new team out in the Bay Area.
And Toronto's getting a team in 26, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So they're expanding, which is great. Like I'm loving what I'm seeing. And I want to say when I was watching that Washington game, remember last season I was complaining the angle of the camera on the game. Remember
Oh,
what they were using was that camera that most games have, the zip camera.
yeah, the overhead.
Why? And then they were doing it. Remember, then the angle was from behind the basket. Who tapes a game like that? And I was like, the WNBA has to do better. Stop doing that. They weren't doing that at Liberty games because they know New York is a huge market. But it doesn't matter. You got Elena Deladon, who's one of the top players in the league, and you recorded it on a zip line camera from
Zip.
behind the basket. Come on. Come on. They ain't do that the other game. When the Liberty was playing them, the angle was a lot. It was a regular camera basketball angle. I said, yeah, they must have fixed that. I don't know why they were doing that. You weren't doing that against Washington in the NBA. They wouldn't dare do that angle again with the men. So, yeah, I'm definitely ready for them to have. I'm ready for the Knicks to have a parade, a championship win in a parade, and the Liberty to have a championship and a parade already. Like, come on now. New York has been waiting too many years for a championship to come here from a team. Patrick Romanek says a lot of the WNBA players are building the league so others will get in the future. Bria Hartley had to go overseas to make money. Yeah, I like Bria Hartley. Yeah, it's true. I think that a lot of the women in this particular draft made a lot of noise in their colleges respectively, and that's shined a lot of light on this league, because there was the rivals like LSU, going against South Carolina, and then you had Caitlin Clark in Iowa playing. So this year, women's college basketball was watched more than men's college basketball. And I think it's also because of the way Caitlin Clark plays. She's shooting threes from like the men from half court, like a regular 3-point shot or like a regular jumper. It's nothing for her. She doesn't look like she's forcing it. It's just quick wrist, like Steph Curry,
And
just
she,
snapping
she
her
broke
wrist.
a, and she broke a lot of records too as well. So, like I said, kudos. And, I know she's gonna have success in the WNBA. And guess what? And if she don't her first year, she's a rookie. Allow her that and give her grace. But and it's a learning tool, for her. You know, um, she's gonna have the blunders and the bad games, but it's how she's gonna bounce back and respond to and come out the next day or the next game that they play. So um I don't
Exactly.
is it too much pressure? I mean, who knows? We got it's too early. Got to wait and see. Before they're all stars, something like, or how she's progressing in the league. But she's a professional. You know, um.
She's gonna get the rookie jitters off.
Oh
It's gonna
yeah,
it's gonna take her
yeah,
some time to get it off. And playing with Aaliyah Boston, who comes from South Carolina, she's gonna learn a lot. Playing with Erica Wheeler, she's gonna learn a lot as well, who's a
yeah.
veteran in the league. So she's gonna you know, she's gonna learn a lot in this league. Liberty are up 48-31. It's halftime. Caitlin Clark only has 2 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Brianna Stewart's having a beautiful game. She's already has 20 points, Sabrina Onescu has 9.7 rebounds, and Benijah has 8. Jonquel JJ has 6.6 rebounds. JJ had a beautiful game last game. Yeah, and shout out to Paris Jugger. He said most important thing Caitlin Clark did was make us men watch women's basketball, which is very true. That allowed me to see other talents in women's basketball. She lived up to the hype when I watched. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what helped other people notice the other women from other um, college teams and what they were doing in this league. And I mean, man, if you just really watch, and if you guys can, if you're not in New York, but you're in other states where they have WNBA teams, support them because the tickets really aren't expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. Remember when we used to go to the Liberty games and the tickets used to be like $25, $50? They're not
Yes.
that price anymore. The league has for sure grown. This is before Caitlin Clark came. Those tickets skyrocket. They said we're not doing that. It's a shame that the Liberty Dolan cut ties with them and they're not at MSG. It was beautiful to go there, but it's weird. The New York Liberty playing in Brooklyn, but it is what it is. And Brooklyn got those tight seats. Your knees touch the seat right in front of you if you're tall. But um, I'd rather them stay there than come to New Jersey. Just stay there. But if
Oh
you
yeah.
guys can, I do highly recommend you go to check out a WNBA game. It's very exciting. It's great basketball. You know, and these teams do live up to the hype, the stuff that you see them do. And the game has evolved so much in the WNBA game. Like now, if you watch and see what they're doing, the women are quicker, they're faster, the Euro steps, the crossovers of everything is just there. And some of them, a lot of them, they're so strong. They're catching these Kevin Love, throwing those Kevin Love one-handed passes down the court, and just the stuff that you see them do. And actually, the Liberty, like if you go to the Garden, the energy there reminds you of when you're watching the Knicks. I mean, and then I'm sorry, but the Knicks City Dancers have nothing on watching
Oh
Ellie and the mascot and just it's just a different vibe. Like it's something about when you go to like a Liberty game, and we've been to so many. It really is. It's a little bit more. I don't even know what's the word I'm looking for, but it's not the same. Like when you at a Knicks game, I know we may talk in a timeout and we're talking, chatting, but when you at a Liberty game, you're watching because it's an actual show. It's an actual performance. So people are so engaged in a timeout. It's like a turn up. They'll have, and that is great too because they always have a DJ. They rotate different local DJs from within the tri-state area. DJ Shuttle needs to look into doing one of them games and do a Liberty game. But it's just a great time, and the tickets. Salute to Steph. She said, yeah, we up 48-31. Yeah, it's halftime right now. The Liberty could take them. And last year, believe it or not, Indiana Fever didn't really have us to have an answer for the Liberty. So we pretty much
yeah.
dominated playing against
But
them, just like we dominate
and
playing against Connecticut as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
because they were young and inexperienced Indiana. They didn't have a great season last year. So I will say the team to watch out for so far, it looks like Chicago looks really good. Chicago Sky look really good. Camila Cardoso, when she come back, they're gonna be even more powerful.
oh for sure.
Angel
Yeah.
Reese is doing her thing over there. She may be a princess, but she go out there and get on that floor. She ball. And the LA Sparks, they look good. They look good. And I'm happy for what's her name on LA. She's a veteran. What's her name? Let me see. I'm gonna pull up her name. She's their she's their Lashia Clarendon. She finally got some help. Because remember last year she had to do everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's good for the rookies because they have that veteran experience who could get in their ear and help them throughout the game. But she finally got some help. Yeah, Liberty, they killing Indiana right now. They not gonna have an answer for JJ or Brianna Stewart, who she caused controversy last year because people felt like Asia Wilson should have won the MVP. So that's gonna be interesting too this year.
Mm,
Who wins the MVP? Because a lot of that caused a big thing in the headlines last year. That was all
yeah,
over
I
the
remember.
people was like, "Oh, it should have been Asia. Why was it Brianna Stewart?" But I thought Stewie had a great season, not just because she's on a Liberty, but she proved And I'm not knocking Asia. I thought Asia had a great season as well, but we'll see. Did you see Asia's new sneaker she has?
What? No, don't come out until 26, right?
Not, but did you see them though? Like the I didn't see them. I just know that she has her sneakers coming out.
Yeah, no, I didn't see him either.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah.
long overdue.
Yeah, and
They
that's another thing. Because who has shoe deals? I know Stewie has a shoe deal.
Sabrina
Sabrina has a
Stark
shoe
and then
deal,
Caitlin,
and Caitlin Clark has a shoe deal, and then now
Asian.
Asia Wilson. That's it, right? I can't think of anyone else who has a shoe deal in the WNBA. But I like Sabrina sneakers. So Mr. Tough Guy Green pulled a no show on Knicks Fan TV. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. He don't have nothing else better to do. You off. You had time to be on NBA on TNT, so I don't know why he didn't show up on Knicks Fan TV. That's go figure. Listen, New York has to win something. Let our players get the MVP. I'm good. Yeah, for sure. And next year, the Knicks will get all the accolades that they deserve. We're not worried about the accolades now. We're worried about moving past, getting better each game, getting out of this second round, which they will. And I really want the Knicks to really take it to Boston. Like really give Boston a run for their money. So
They will. They definitely not getting swept though. That's for sure.
right.
It ain't even that. Nah, they're not getting swept. Hopefully, we'll definitely have OG back. Maybe by game 3. Um, you know that'll be a plus for the Knicks. When you read the comments.
I was yeah, I was true with them. Salute to the chat for everybody for joining us tonight. The chat was live tonight. You guys are excited about the Knicks game. I love it tomorrow. Salute to Dwayne Wilson, Cotton Candy, TJ Honablu. Salute to you, Eddie C, APAP, CM. Salute to you as well. Just Knicks always chiming in. Salute to you. DJ Shuttle, all aboard. Salute to DJ Shuttle. Marvin, Marvin's perspective from the other side. Salute to you. Still Knicks fan. Salute to Ron. Always showing love, being part of the replay gang. Parish Duggar, salute to you. Salute to Steph, aka Queen from Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk. Check her out. She will be on tonight at 9. That's gonna be a goodie. And I believe Ron is coming on at 8:30, if I'm not mistaken. So check out Still Knicks fan. So that's like a triple header you guys have tonight. So we kicked it off. You got Ron and you got Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk coming on. So check them
A
out.
lot of Nick content.
Exactly. Corey Lee from the 718 Boys, salute to you, and Boulevard 73. Woman, salute to you as well.
Salute.
Derad, salute to you. Always joining. John McDonald, salute to you. Patrick McManus, salute to you. I've seen you here before, Patrick. Thanks for joining us. Wonder Woman, salute. Cece, salute. Cece's been in our chat a lot lately too as well. Aj, thank you for joining us, Aj. I like when we have guests on. And any of you, if you want to join us, I will start leaving a link in the chat for those of you who want to join us on the show. I usually put it in our Twitter chat. But yeah,
Yes.
we love to hear from you guys, X chat. But shout out to Aj for joining us on the show. Love having him on. AP. But yeah, let's go Knicks, as Diva Locks always says. The Knicks will close out tomorrow. I'm very confident in that and what this team can do. They're continuing to write their story. We're behind them. Let's stay positive. And this way, these guys can get some rest and we'll be ready for the Eastern Conference Finals.
I
Anything
have
else?
three words for the Knicks for tomorrow. Run it back. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't steer away from what worked in game 5. And these guys will be okay. Until next time, Knicks family, everybody have a great evening. Go check out Still Knicks fans and also go check out Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk. Respectively, you have shows coming up at 8:30 and then again at 9. And we'll see you on Saturday morning. We'll recap game 5. And let's go Knicks. Looking forward to the Eastern Conference